my channel. Today I'm gonna Hey, it's Sam and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with another Disney based video. I'm going to be running you through my top 10 favourite rides at Walt Disney World in Florida. Obviously these rides vary from each Disney park, so Space Mountain in Florida is different to Space Mountain in Paris because you don't go upside down in Florida, which personally I prefer. They're in no particular order apart from the last three. The last three are my top three, but apart from that I love the rest equally, so yeah, don't think that anyone is better than the other and they're in some kind of order, because they aren't up until the last few. The first one on my list is Avatar Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom. This ride is definitely the best of the flying ones. The way they do it is incredible. You go in, you sit down, and you kind of sit in this sort of hunched over position, and it didn't really make sense to me at first because I hadn't seen anything to do with that ride other than the fact that it was supposed to be good. So I didn't really quite understand why I was sitting like that until the ride started, and they do it so that you feel like you're actually riding on the back of this animal. But it was so good, they really immerse you in it and you do kind of feel like you're flying, which is really cool. Just don't look to the side of you because you will see everyone else and it will feel less immersive. I love the way they included technology in that as well and kind of tried to make it a bit more modern, because even when you're queuing they are using all the technology around you and you really build up a story and build up your character basically. I just love the way that they've done that. The second one on my list is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This one we actually did twice. We did it first on my birthday and then the second time on the last day. Both times it was really good fun. After we did it the first time I actually mentioned in the vlog that it was over quicker than I expected, and that wasn't a negative point on it at all. I absolutely loved the ride. It was literally just the fact that we were melting in the heat that I just thought that I was going to be in this like endless wind tunnel that would cool me down, and that didn't happen. So it wasn't a negative on the ride at all. I actually loved it and it's in my top 10. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is just your classic roller coaster that is outdoors. You've got the theming of the Wild West, which is really well done. I love at the start before you set off you can go wildest ride in the wilderness, and it's just, yeah, I love that. Number 3, Soarin'. This might be a little bit random to some people as obviously I've put Avatar in here as well. If you don't know, Soarin' is another flying ride, but this time you go in and sit down in your row with a load of other people in what looks like this giant paragliding kite thing. It will then bring you forward and lift you up and you will be put in front of this giant screen. I got splashed with water. It was either a dolphin or a whale, I can't quite remember now. When the tail hit the water I got splashed with water. I thought that was a really cool added little feature that just kind of immersed you a little bit more into that world. It could be my favourite purely because it was the first flying ride that we did, but I absolutely loved it. It was just so cool and all of the scenery and images and everything was lovely, so yeah, I would definitely recommend Soarin'. Number 4, I'm not entirely sure if you could class this as a ride. It's more of an experience. It's Kilimanjaro Safaris and I absolutely loved it. The guy that we had driving us around the safari was really good. We actually had a bit of a hold up for some rhinos and he talked us all through it, made us laugh, told us some interesting facts. My little top tip for this one is, if you can, try and book a fast pass for it in the late afternoon, around 4 to 6 p.m. The animals will be a little bit cooler as the heat has subsided slightly. You'll get a bit more movement and a little bit more action, and it'll just be a bit more interesting. Number 5. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was a lot of fun. I loved Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because you would sit in this little minecart and they would take you through the mine. There would be gemstones lit up around you and the dwarfs everywhere. You would have a projection of the dwarfs on the side right before you go down a big hill. I love that you stop and you can see Snow White and the dwarfs dancing in the cottage next to you. I love the hi-ho song that you get to sing in that as well. I just loved it. I thought it was really cute. The only thing I would say with that was that there was over a 2-hour wait queue for it. So if you can, get a fast pass for it because I wouldn't wait 2 hours for it. I loved it, but I didn't think it was worth 2-hour wait. Number 6. Kali River Rapids in Animal Kingdom. This was one of the first water rides that we did and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. You sit in this sort of circle ring with a load of other people. Just be prepared to get wet and know that your stuff will also get wet. You can either put your bag down by your feet or you can put it in the middle. There's a sort of, I was going to say a table, it's not really a table, but there is a sort of platform in the middle that you can put your stuff on, but it probably will move around, so I just kept mine by my feet. It did get wet, and so did we. I think Chris and I actually got the wettest because it turned and we both got hit with a waterfall. Do be prepared to get absolutely soaked. The good news is that because it's so hot out there, you do dry off quickly, so that's a bonus. Be prepared to have a lot of fun because that is a really good one. We actually ended up doing this twice. We did it on the first day we were in the parks because the wait queue was only 20 minutes, so we decided to do that then, and then we had a fast pass for it as well. So just be aware that you don't necessarily need a fast pass for that one. I assume that's because you can get quite a lot of people on at the same time, so the wait queue goes down a lot quicker. Obviously, as I'm filming this, Disney World is currently closed, so whether that will change when it reopens and whether it'll ever go back to that, I'm not entirely sure, but that was how it was when we were there. Just bear that one in mind. Number 7, a classic, Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain was so much fun. We actually tried to do this 3 times and it was only on the 3rd time that we managed to do it, so 3rd time lucky. The first time was on my birthday and we just missed it because we were late for our breakfast reservation, which then made us late for the rest of the day, so we had to miss that unfortunately. The second time it was pouring down with rain, so they actually closed the ride and gave us a fast pass for something else, which I will tell you what that was in a minute. And the last one was our first ride on the last day, and I'm so glad that we got to do it because it's such an iconic ride. Obviously you have the main drop of Splash Mountain, but there was a couple before that which I wasn't expecting, so that was a nice little surprise, and the theming and the songs and everything as you go around was lovely. It's just your classic log flume and it was brilliant. Little tip for that one, if you want the photo from that, the photo is taken at the start of the big drop, so make sure you're ready for that because I wasn't, so my face is just like screaming. But I mean, natural candid photo, so but just be aware of that if you want a slightly better looking photo than mine. Going into the top 3 then, at number 8 we have Slinky Dog Dash. Slinky Dog Dash is really, really good. It's really quick, you get such a thrill from it. I love the bit that's kind of like this. If you've been on it you'll kind of know what I mean, but the actual track kind of dips and you obviously go with it, which was a lot of fun. My top tip for this one is, if you can, ride it at night because the view you get from the top with Toy Story Land lit up, you've got Star Wars lit up to the side view, and then all of the other lights from Hollywood Studios. It's just stunning. It's definitely a view that I won't forget, and I'm so glad that we got to do it at night because I did not know that you would get to see all of that from the top. Number 9, Expedition Everest. This one was actually the first ride that we did in Disney World, and we started on a high, let me tell you. Because we started off on such a thrill ride, the rest of them seemed a little bit tame compared to this one, but it was just amazing. The main bit of Expedition Everest is when it propels you forward and then you stop. It looks like the track is broken, and then all of a sudden you shoot backwards. You shoot backwards down the slope that you just got thrown up, and then go around a corner and then go up a little bit of a hill in the dark, and then you stop and you get a picture of a Yeti on the screen, and then it shoots you forward and you end up outside. It was amazing. It was so good, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you love a thrill ride, you will love that because that was a lot of fun. It was so quick as well, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect to be like thrown backwards. The queue for it wasn't very long at all, so we actually ended up doing it twice. We did our fast pass for it and then went on it again just because the queue wasn't long, so we could do that, which was quite nice. And number 10, my final one, and the one I would recommend to absolutely everyone, is Space Mountain. Space Mountain is one that I didn't actually expect to enjoy. I knew I had to do it because obviously it's so iconic. Chris wanted to do it and I really wanted to know what it was like, but the first time we tried to do it I just had a complete freak out for some reason over the fact that it was in the dark, it was a thrill ride, I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know how it was going to go, and it's something in my brain just flipped a switch that was like, okay, time to panic, and I had a full-on panic attack before I went on that. We ended up not doing it on my birthday as we planned to. However, when Splash Mountain got cancelled for the second time because of the rain, they offered us another fast pass, so we chose to use it on Space Mountain. I was so nervous, but I'm so glad I did it. It ended up being both of our favourites in Disney. Disney. It was just incredible. We loved it so much that we actually ended up changing our fast pass for our last ride, because we were supposed to do It's a Small World because it was the only time we could fit it into our trip, and I just thought it was iconic. Turns out we ended up not really thinking that much of it and going for one that we knew would be so much fun and that we'd absolutely love for the last ride. So we swapped It's a Small World for Space Mountain. So I've never actually done It's a Small World, but having heard things about it, I'm kind of glad that we swapped to Space Mountain because it was just so completely worth it and I absolutely loved it. The only problem that I had with it was I couldn't tell when they took the photo. The first time I had my eyes shut pretty much the entire ride because I was absolutely terrified but loving life. And the second time I blinked as they took the photo and I just saw the flash and that was it. Very better prepared than I did for that because they take the photo right at the start, which I didn't expect, because I was like, right, I'm going to keep my eyes open for this photo, I'm going to prove that I have my eyes open, and then I blinked at the wrong time. So yeah, that was good. So that's it for my top 10 rides. If you have any ride recommendations for Walt Disney World, then do leave them in the comments below, because if I ever go back I'd love to know, and obviously I haven't done all of the rides, so do make sure you let me know if you do have ride recommendations. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more from me, hit the little notification bell if you want to get a notification every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye!